Hello everyone, welcome to an interesting video by the team Procapitalist. I'm Dr. Purvaa Jain, your financial growth coach. This video is completely for educational purpose, does not constitute any investment advice or okay. So let's get started. This ad by Kotak draw my attention. Now, this ad is for IPL with a tagline which is quite impressive. हौसला है तो हो जाएगा. I was wondering what happened. This bank does not give any product centric advertisement. Rather, हौसला है तो हो जाएगा, commitment centric, a performance centric, and a resilience centric advertisement. So, I tried to deep dive into an understanding about what is that in this particular bank, which is drawing attention of a lot of stakeholders. And then I studied Kotak Mahindra Bank, that is the parent company for these 18 to 20 group companies. Yes, Kotak Mahindra Bank proudly operates as a in the vertical of asset management, protection, that is insurance, capital markets through the Kotak securities, and banking and other lending related operations. Now, with this, having a leadership team of around 60 plus individuals, 69 individuals with an average tenure of 19 years with the group, tell a lot of fact about the strong leadership vision, commitment towards performance. Let's get started getting an understanding about Kotak's business. This information is taken from the investor deck presentation, which briefly highlights bank's milestones, subsidiary highlights, and the customer reach. So this bank is the fourth private sector bank in India with a market capitalization of 3.55 trillion. This bank is one of the leading private banker which manages wealth for 60% of India's top 100 families. Not only this, Kotak AMC is the fifth largest fund house in the country. And when we talk about customer rich, the numbers are just like great. 5.2 crores of bank customers, 5510 of total group branches in India, and so on so far. With this, I was surprised to look into the Q3 FY25 results. When we talk about the consolidated numbers, the PAT has been 10% up year on year basis and with a decent ROE of 12%. But was this information sufficient to take care of my curiosity? Not at all. So I deep dive again in some more numbers and I got very interesting numbers and facts around the bank. Bank has a PAT of 3305 CRs. The customers' assets are impressively increasing at 15% year on year basis. With this, the NIM, that is the net interest margin ratio, which should be ideally 3 to 4% for banks in India, is more than 4%. And the CASA ratio, that is, which is the one very crucial, talks about the availability of low cost fund, which should be ideally more than 40%, is 42%, which is quite impressive. Now, when we talk about the subsidiaries of Kotak Mahindra, the Kotak Mahindra Capital has a PAT increase of 170% year on year basis. Very impressive number, isn't it? The Kotak AMC has a PAT up by 73% year on year basis. So these numbers were very strong to push me around the bank highlights and again other numbers. Now, Q3 FY25 shows very clearly that the PAT has been increased by 10%. As regard to the customer assets, again, the same has been increased impressively for December 2024 to 15%. When we talk about the CASA ratio, the CAR, that is the capital adequacy ratio, the ROA, all these numbers were singing a great story about the commitment of the bank towards performance and resilience. With this, a very simple question in the mind of majority of investors, that is it right time to invest or we should wait for this company or this stock. So let's deep dive into certain news elements, certain fundamentals, and the technicals with regard to the company. But before that, do subscribe the channel Procapitalist and stay tuned in for more information. All right. So what is there in the news? The news clearly highlights that recently स्टॉक में एक ब्रेकआउट लेवल आया है अपने R3 लेवल के ऊपर और काफी सारे एनालिस्ट का ये मानना है कि स्टॉक में अब पोजीशन ले लेनी चाहिए। काफी सारे म्यूचुअल फंड्स या म्यूचुअल फंड हाउसेस के अगर हम बारे में बात करें तो उनका स्टेक भी इस स्टॉक के अंदर, जहां 398 म्यूचुअल फंड हाउस इन्वेस्टेड थे, वहीं अराउंड 430 म्यूचुअल फंड हाउस आज की तारीख में अपने होल्डिंग इस स्टॉक में बढ़ा चुके हैं। बट क्या हम न्यूज के बेसिस पर हमारे फाइनेंशियल डिसीजंस ले लें? ना। As a prudent and mindful individuals, we need to understand and read the numbers well. So let's get into the screener.com for the sake of our comfort. Again, there is no promotion of any script or any platform through this video. This is completely for your information purpose, right? So let's get started. Let's talk about Kotak Mahindra Bank, and here we catch certain numbers through the spotlight. The book value of stock as of now, one share is 740. However, the current price is around 2024, break the previous all-time high. आज की तारीख में ये stock around 1.5% up पर close हुआ है. With this, when we talk about the return on capital employed, it's around 7.86 and return on equity is 15%. Looks decent. Let's talk about the peers. So, the peer comparison very clearly highlights here that the median PE जहां इंडस्ट्री में 10 का है, वहीं इस स्टॉक का PE अराउंड 20.50 है। एंड दिस कुड बी वन ऑफ द रीजन कि आपको करंट प्राइस में एक हाइक देखने मिल रहा है। अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट, इंडस्ट्री एवरेज मतलब अगर हम कंपेयर करें तो अराउंड 7 रिटर्न ऑन कैपिटल एम्प्लॉयड, return on equity is around 18.80, which is impressive as compared to the industry number. Interest coverage ratio is again decent. With this, let's deep dive into the profit and loss statement of the company. Profit and loss statement here, reflecting the revenues and the interest number. Revenue 33,000, 42,000, 56,000 until date 64,000. All these numbers are in crores. Super impressive revenue growth. When we talk about the interest as an expense, since the leverage has been increased, the same has been increased here. But when we talk about the overall profit of the company from the major business operation, that's the core business, lending business operation, the financing operation, the profit comes to be negative. Here we go. But when you compare it with the profit before taxes, or simply when I say PAT, it is positive. What is the reason? The reason is the other income which the bank generates, which is increasing significantly year-on-year basis from 24,000, 25,000, 38,000, and as of now, 43,000. Super impressive number. So the net profit of the company, of the bank itself, is increasing positively year-on-year basis, 12,000, 14,000, 18,000 as of now. Now, let's look to the EPS. See the number like 60 का EPS, 75, 91 और आज तो देखो 113 का EPS कमाल ही कर दिया. And no doubt, these are certain reasons which we can see here that the stock is trading at an all-time high and break its all record. Now, when we talk about the balance sheet of the company, it clearly underlines the importance of reserves here, increasing year-on-year basis from 95,000, 110, 128, and 146,000 crores. A big number reflects here very clearly about the stability, potential, and the prospect of this bank. When we talk about the deposits and borrowings, again, leverage is significantly employed by the bank, which we can see here. 310, 361, 445, these are the leverage number. Again, the bank is employing leverage mindfully, aggressively, and I don't think so that there is any harm in doing that. When we talk about the assets are significant, increasing step by step, but the other assets, that is the investments of the bank, has been increased by leaps and bounds. So 164,000, 195,000, 246,000, and 273,000, right? So these numbers with regard to investments are very strong, very effective, which shows that the company is using all of its fund very mindfully towards strengthening its overall profitability, solvency, and the future prospects. With this, let's jump into the cash flow statement. Cash flow statement, तीन major activities, operating, investing और financing. ऑपरेटिंग प्रॉफिट ऑफ द कंपनी ने बिल्कुल डाउन टर्न से यू टर्न ले लिया है, सॉरी। यहाँ पर जहां 1242 का माइनस ऑपरेटिंग प्रॉफिट था, वही आज की तारीख में मार्च 2024 के नंबर के हिसाब से 15,000 हो गया। ये कोई छोटी मोटी बात नहीं है। वी कैन सी द कमिटमेंट ऑफ द बैंक टुवर्ड्स परफॉर्मेंस, staying resilient in the volatile financial landscape and keep performing. That's what the punchline which the bank actually proving across. When we talk about the cash flow from financing activities, that is positive. Some borrowings has been done, and that's why that is positive. Now, let's talk about the investors. Investors, promoter की holding almost constant है। FIIs और DIIs का एक बड़ा हाथ इस कंपनी के स्टॉक्स में हम देख सकते हैं, प्राइजेस के मूवमेंट को लेके देख सकते हैं। ऑलमोस्ट अबाउट 30% की होल्डिंग जहां FIIs की है, वहीं स्टेप बाय स्टेप DIIs भी अपना इन्वेस्टमेंट इस स्टॉक में बढ़ा रहे हैं। सो विद दिस इज द कंप्लीट अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ कोटक महिंद्रा बैंक, एंड let's deep dive into the technicals. What is the technical chart of the company is saying? Now, अगर क्वार्टरली टाइम फ्रेम पे स्टॉक को हम देखें, तो क्वार्टरली टाइम फ्रेम पे हम एक रेंज बाउंड तरीके से आज हम देख सकते हैं कि ये स्टॉक की प्राइसेस मूव कर रही हैं। एक रीजन डिफाइन कर लिया है कि नहीं, मैं तो 2200 से 1800 के आसपास की प्राइस रेंज में ही मूवमेंट करूंगा। नाउ, with regard to monthly time frame, let's try to understand what's happening. मंथली टाइम फ्रेम पे अगर हम आज देखें तो स्टॉक अपने 2034 की प्राइस पे है, और एक करेक्शन आने के बाद में कुछ इस तरह से स्टॉक ने बढ़ना चालू किया। तो अगर मुझे स्टॉक का डिमांड जोन मार्क करना है मंथली टाइम फ्रेम पे, तो मेरे हिसाब से सबसे ज्यादा पेंडिंग ऑर्डर्स इस स्टॉक में करीब इस लेवल पर है, 1800 के आसपास। आज स्टॉक अपने 2034 दैट इज R3 लेवल को क्रॉस करके आगे बढ़ गया है। तो अगर मुझसे कोई पूछे कि क्या मैं स्टॉक में कोई पोजीशन बनाऊंगी, तो मेरा आंसर ना होगा, बिकॉज मेरी अंडरस्टैंडिंग है इस स्टॉक के लिए एक डिसेंट डिमांड जोन ऑलरेडी 1800 के लेवल के आसपास है, और जब ये स्टॉक अपने 2400 के लेवल के आसपास जाने की और है, राइट, अगेन दिस इज अ प्रोबेबिलिटी। तो जब ऑल टाइम हाई पे कोई चीज मिलनी है तो क्यों परचेस करना है महंगी? लेट्स वेट फॉर सम करेक्शन। मैं गलत भी हो सकती हूँ। सो दिस इज अगेन माय अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ माय रिसर्च। लेट्स गेट अहेड ऑन दिस कॉन्वर्सेशन। सो मंथली टाइम फ्रेम पे स्टॉक की डिमांड अराउंड 1800 के आसपास है। वीकली टाइम फ्रेम पे देखा जाए तो स्टॉक ने गैप अप ओपनिंग करके पोटेंशियल पेंडिंग ऑर्डर्स को यहां से उठाकर एक नए हाई पर इस स्टॉक की प्राइसेस को लेके गया है। बट हम यहाँ भूल नहीं सकते कि यहाँ पर काफी सारे सेल्स के ऑर्डर ट्रिगर्ड हैं, पेंडिंग है अराउंड इस लेवल पर। तो क्या होगा? अगेन दिस अ बिग क्वेश्चन, and again it's a complete game of probability. So instead of taking any fresh position in a stock when it is at all-time high, I would recommend understand how the stock is moving on a weekly basis, on a daily basis, so that आप candlesticks और उनके price action को समझ पाए। So this was the complete analysis with regard to Kotak Bank. I hope you got great insights, and do mention in the chat box what is your key takeaway and what is the other video which you would like me to make on. Okay, so see you soon in the next video. Till then, bye bye.